Start by, I mean, we know who the Alliantie is, but can you give us some information about the your role in the social housing?
Yeah. Do you wanna?
The role of the Allianz or my role?
No, Alliantie's role.
Okay, yeah. We are a social housing corporation, and it means that we rent homes to people who have low income. We do that not just in one community of a municipality.
Yeah.
Municipality. We have 14, 15 municipalities, and we are quite a large organization when you compare it to other social housing corporations. And it makes it a lot, it's very interesting because when you go to Amsterdam and the real estate market there is completely different than in some other parts of our where we have our homes. So and we in our strategy we say we are for 85 to 90% for the low income households, but also 10 to 15% for households with a middle income, because there are too few dwellings for them to find. So we think it's important to also give them perspective also for a home. But we are also one of the most one of the corporations who builds a lot of new homes each year. That's what makes us different from a lot of other corporations in the Netherlands.
So we develop our own homes, like 1,000 a year, something like that. So it's quite a lot, 700 to 1,000 a year. Yeah.
And so you are only in the social sector, and you don't develop or rent housing in the free market?
Yes, yeah, we do, because we have, but that's quite technical, a small commercial part of our 1,200 homes. They are separated from our social housing corporation, so we can also, it gives us some advanced.
Yeah, so financial advances, right? So it's a really big part of our income, actually.
Yeah, also it helps developing larger because we can give and offer social housing, but also commercial housing. So we can develop more.
Sometimes we fill up an apartment block with some commercial housing as well, right? So we say 90% of this apartment block is, let's say 70% is low segment, 20% is the middle segment, and then we say 10% is like higher commercial segment. So we can fill up the block with different segments, so we have more room and space to build.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can only do social housing and you have less room to develop.
And that is the financial model here, right? The commercial part.
Yes, financial, but also it. Not only commercial, but also commercial, because it gives us the possibility to do more developments, because we have a commercial segment. So you are more interesting partner for a building company to ask, or for a community or for a municipality to speak with us, because we can deliver more kind of homes for different target groups.
Yeah.
So it's not just financially interesting.
I see. So can you tell us sort of the outline of developing a housing? What are the stages in the Alliantie in developing the housing, and at which parts it is Alliantie and at which part it is contracted?
Yeah, I can. Do you? Yeah, weet je dat? Ja. Weet je wel, hè? Oh, I can tell something about it. So we have our development department. So that's we call it the Alliantie Ontwikkeling. That's actually the Alliantie Development, and that's a different company within the company. So they are a different BV. So they're actually separated from us, and we give them from the regions that we built. So Amsterdam, Amersfoort, Hilversum, Almere, we give assignments to them. So we have a plot, and we own that plot, and then we tell them we want to develop something there. And the municipality is already informed in the beginning with someone from the development department and with someone from the region. So now we're in a regional office. This is Amsterdam regional office. There's no development people here, only regional people. Development office is in Hilversum, and so we asked them, can you help us with the development of a building here? And then we have the person that is the area controller, let's say, so the area coordination person, so they know what needs to be developed in the area, and they will do it alongside with the person from the development department. So because that person knows how to build a building, but this person knows how to develop an area. So they will be together with the municipality, but only on the plot that we already own or we can buy. So the municipality says there's a plot here, you already own it, we want something there, and then we develop it within those first two people, or we can buy it, and then then the development part will buy it, and then we develop alongside with the region. So then we know what needs to be there, and then we will search for an architect. Then we have a design. Then we search for a contractor. We do that sometimes in how do you call it? When you ask multiple contractors to work.
Like a tender.
Tender, yeah.
Okay.
So we do that often with the tender, and then we have the contractor, and then the contractor will make the drawings, and then we'll do the vergunning, the permit request, yeah. So they will do the permit request, and then we have a permit, and then they can do the execution.
Okay.
Yeah.
And to ask you, what role do you play, each of you, in this long process of development?
I'm totally in the front because I'm telling, or I'm more strategic. I have a strategic position, so I say how many of what kind of homes there should be built, where approximately, but also give them the spatial and functional requirements. Because we would like that they build homes that we can rent for now 10 years, and also it's applicable for different kind of target groups. So not very specific homes, but homes that are usable for different kind of people. So the rentability is very good. So we have high occupation, and so I'm in the front. So we would like this many homes to also in terms of how many rooms, in terms of is it apartment buildings, or are it semi-detached or whatever.
And whom is living there as well, right?
Sorry?
Like, what kind of people are living there? Is it for elderly people? Is it for students? What is the?
Yeah, but also the regional but that's not my.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. And I'm more of a technical perspective. So we have the team of Jaap, that's more strategy, and then we have my team is partnerships and innovation, and we try to put actually the strategy that's there in a more technical form. So we say, for example, the strategy is that we want to build more sustainable housing, and then my team is looking at how are we going to do that. And we will actually talk with a lot of people, try to put up pilots that actually can show us that we can do the more sustainable housing. For example, I have a lot of contact with the department, with the development department, but also with the regional departments to see how can we put some rules that are set up with strategy within the assignment that we give. So that's more of a technical use. So I'm actually like a sort of technical scope from the strategy department.
Yeah, I see.
Yeah, but on multiple themes though. So Jaap is more on the theme: what is the spatial character of the house? Where's the houses? What kind of room is there? And I'm more, for example, on sustainability, circularity, housing quality. That's more of my part.
Okay.
Is the process of finding an architect also put to kind of tender, like to competition, or
Sometimes,
is
yeah, sometimes, but sometimes they're already they're already a part of the process very early on. But no, a lot of times it's tendered. It's getting more tenders actually. So back in the days, you had sort of the same groups, but it was not really that honest or that like yeah.
And as to housing professionals, what do you think about the quality of housing in the Netherlands in general? Not about.
Not the social housing, but more general because.
Oh no, the social housing, not only Alliantie's housing, in general.
Oh, in general, I think the social housing is a very high quality. If you compare that to the privately owned housings, and quality in terms of how large the apartments are, or how spacious they are, and also the way they are executed. And I think nowadays, the last 5 to 10 years, you see a movement from with all social housing companies to build smaller dwellings. But in the past, they built very large homes, also for single person, single households. There was a lot of money in the days, and now there isn't. So now we get a bit more a reality check, I think, and that's so we are using our money better.
Yeah. Okay. I think the basic quality of our homes is quite high actually. I think there's not really so for example in the technical requirements we have, we don't really say that there's different for social housing or middle segment housing. It's just like the same building quality. But also because we see that if you, I don't know, put in a cheaper door, you will eventually have to replace it earlier on. So we say higher quality is like a higher livable home and a longer housing age. So I think that's sort of the philosophy that we have. It's part of the total cost of ownership. I think you have heard of it, right? So we say more cost sometimes in the beginning makes a better quality in general. And I think we recently did quite a big research where we said how high is our building quality in terms of the other housing corporations. So we have 26 other housing corporations that were compared to us, and we are quite high compared to them. So for example, we say that if there's a little like a little dent in the wall or something, we say you have to put it out, you have to like vanish it or make it better. And other housing corporations say no, just leave it, it's fine. So I think we're quite. So we can do a little bit less, but we are quite high standard.
Was that assessed in terms just of maintenance, or was it also assessed on affordability or housing quality?
Yeah, so housing quality in the mutation part. So when somebody leaves a home and somebody else is so more maintenance, but not in general maintenance. More if somebody is leaving and somebody else is coming in. So yeah, basic quality of the home. Yeah.
So what would you consider the main challenge in achieving high quality housing, apart from money, I guess?
Yeah, money is a big part, I think.
I think money actually. Yeah.
Actually, money.
Yeah. No, I think communication is a really big issue there, and so we have like objective quality and subjective quality, right? Yeah. So I think we have around 40 people that every day they are again looking at the quality and sort of try it from their perspective, say what's right. And we had some documents that said what the quality should be, but they were really not easy accessible. So now we made them more accessible. And then we had a lot of discussion and communication around what should be the quality. And I think communication is a really big, helpful instrument to make it better. Because if we have just the same rules and we know what we're talking about, we can find it easily, then we can actually have a good quality and also reduce the costs. Because the cost is really about the discussion as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you mean communication there between
contractors and inside like our
but also municipality also
as well, but we mainly had, so our contractors are also our advisors. Okay. So they actually give us advice as how the quality should be, because they are the technical people, And sometimes they come in and say, "Oh, you definitely should replace that." And then we say, "Okay, I don't know what our guidelines are." And then we have a discussion that you don't want to do it. But if we have our guidelines really like set and proper, then we can just tell them to follow our guidelines. So the discussion will be gone, and then also we have less time, and we have way more time to do different homes. So the costs will reduce then. Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Well, how do you then, so apart from increasing communication or better communicating, how do you ensure that your houses are of higher quality? And here I refer mainly to your internal design quality standards, the functional and spatial requirements.
Program of requirements.
Even longer.
So how do you use it? What is it? If you can describe the different standards or requirements that you have for ensuring housing quality.
Yeah, maybe you want to say something about how we use the spatial and functional program?
Yeah, but I'm thinking about, because you say to make a higher quality, but you think our program of requirements is so base level. We think, hey, that's all our homes should be comply to that quality, and we are not, and it evolves. Because there are different times. Nowadays we build much higher than with 40 storage or 30 storages of high, and that's new. So what kind of other elements should we think about the entrance, about the storage? How do we need some more communal spaces, and how do you do that? But that's so it's evolving. But I don't think that's the question you asked. But then I don't know what you really mean about getting a higher quality, because.
So how do you ensure quality?
Like, how do you ensure? Because when we have our program of requirements is going to our development department. They are talking with their contractors, and you have some functional the quality controller people.
Yep.
So they have to ensure that the technical aspects are correct, and also the people at the development company, they have our program of requirement, and they have to say, hey, this is the program, this is the home we get offered, there are some differences.
Yep.
And the regional department has to say, oh, that's okay, or no, we don't accept that, please change it and make it better for us so it fits better. So if they want to do other things than in the program, they have to ask it to the asset manager, who is going to own the dwelling and has to rent it. So that's a way to ensure that what we have on paper will also be realized, executed.
A big problem in that one is actually that the asset manager is not a technical person, so there's a financial kind of function. So a lot of these things are technical issues. So we say, for example, oh, we have the turnkey home and we have our technical program requirements. It doesn't match. Can we change the technical program? Can we differ from it? And then we ask the asset manager, and he says, I don't know, because I don't know the technical. I have no idea about the technical stuff. So then we ask the contractor again. So what should you do? And he's actually like sort of building the home. So he's definitely going to say, yeah, no, you should differ from it. So we see that there is an issue with the owner that is not really compliant to have.
Yeah, correct. But that's because of the technical part.
Yeah, the technical part. Yeah. But we have advisors within, so we can also ask our people. But we see that if it's going fast, the discussion is easily done, and then we just continue. And sometimes we have the issues again. but not always. But there's a little.
Just to clarify, in this functional
Program.
program,
Yeah.
so it defines, let's say, the size of the unit, how many sockets are there, where they should be placed, what is the kitchen, how many.
Not the sockets. That's more the technical side, but how many rooms, how the dimensions of the rooms, sleeping room, or the bathroom or the kitchen. What are the minimal dimensions? What are the minimal dimensions of the balcony,
Hallway.
the hallway, and it's an apartment building, the entrance and the escalator or the elevator.
Yeah.
What kind of elevator, and where do you the post box, the PO boxes, or the where are is there sometimes it's very important to build an apartment with no thresholds or thresholds, drempels.
Yeah. Yeah, trash. I think like the things on the ground.
Yeah.
Also, because that's more the functional requirements and spatial requirements, and not about the kitchen. How many cabinets or something like that, and but not how many sockets. That's the technical part.
Yeah. For example, we tell them the elevator how big the dimensions should be, but then the brands of elevators that we actually like are in the technical program.
I see.
Yeah.
And the technical program changes from project to project. No,
so we have a standard technical program that's for every project, and then the project should be consistent to the overall technical program.
Okay.
Yeah. But sometimes it can differ if we say, we make an exception here and there. And all these programs of requirements are above the regulations in the Netherlands. So we have standard building regulations, of course, and these ones are all above it. So it's extra.
And the functional and spatial program of requirements is actually project based, right?
No, it's also standard, and
it's a standard.
Yeah. Okay. We make project specific requirements, but those are more about we are now in this area, and this area says that we want to have a building like this, and then we take our requirements, like our total requirements, and they say, okay, how can we match that?
Okay. How often do you update these documents?
Not often enough.
No, I try to do it every year. So I did. So actually, the latest one was from 2018, and I started working here in 2021. So my first job was actually updating it. I did it in 2022, and now this year I tried to do a second update, and it will be out in a month, I think. And then I try to do it every year. So we have a program every year, but Jaap's one is still on the shelf.
It's almost finished. No, but I agree. We should do this each year, but it's quite a time-consuming process.
Heavy document, It also takes. I had 914 responses on it, so I have 900 comments on it, from several years that said different stuff has to be different, and then you have to check every comment, because if somebody says something, it's not really the new rule, right? You should check it, is it really what you want, or so it's a really big and the longer you wait, the harder it will get.
No pressure.
So when you update, it is based on the people who work with the projects and their feedback, or does it rely on also other kind of sources?
Yeah, the last time we did the update, we asked the developers, but also the asset management, but also the contractors, an architect. So from the different side, the only side that we didn't ask were the people who live in the dwelling. So
yeah.
That's why we're starting now the monitoring just to be sure that we build the right.
And that's for the functional and spatial requirements way more interesting than for the technical side. I mean, of course, for the technical side, it's interesting if we want to see if actually people say, oh, I have not enough sockets. But then we also sort of, from a technical side, we want to do the more of the professional way, like not really the feeling of technical stuff, you know.
What is unique about your, I'm assuming it's a common practice maybe to have functional and spatial requirements by housing corporations in the Netherlands. So do you think yours is unique in some way?
No. I think it's a bit different. I think all housing corporations do have a program of requirements, and I think 80%, 90% is they are all the same. But they're because they work different people, you see different preferences that make differences in the programs. But there are some standards which are used, and we also use some parts of the standard. So the dimensions of the sleeping or the bedrooms or the bathrooms is not our idea. That's an idea from a standard that is used by a lot of organizations and also used by the contractors. So if we say, hey, it's the woonstandaard, it's called, and if they know, oh, it's the woonstandaard, then they know which dimensions they have to make the room, for example. So and a lot of different corporations, social housing corporations, use the same woonstandaards, or the standards, but use different ideas about other aspects of the house or the apartment building or the environment.
Yeah, and a lot of these things are actually about optimal worth of your home times the spatial how you divide it. So it's quite about the money as well. So can I get the ultimate value of my home by the way I build it, by I do it within the guidelines.
What is this woonstandaard?
Yeah, it's like so you have woonkeur, I think. De woonkeur bedoel je toch? Bedoel je gewoon...
Nee, woonstandaard is it's
livable standard. It's a woon.
Yes, that's who like is the government document? Is it
no, it's from de vereniging van Edes.
Yeah, so it's the big. What's the stichting in het Engels?
Foundation.
A foundation, yeah. Sorry, so it's like so we're all foundations or the housing corporations, and ADES is like the overall housing corporation, like the foundation that actually is the spokesman towards the politics as well. So they are we call it in Dutch the belangenbehartiger. They're actually the lobby foundation that is actually foundations helping us, and they have a woonstandaard as well. Yeah, so they have this. Yeah. So they make this document that is standard for housing corporations, and they are actually above everyone, like an umbrella, and then everybody underneath can say, "Oh, thank you for the woonstandaard. We can use it that way and that way." Okay. But they also have, for example, a moist and mold guidelines, and they have all these guidelines that we can use.
That are all prepared by the Association of Housing Corporations.
Yeah.
And when you update your requirements, is it? You said it is about standards. It is about any building regulation or standards. So, what are the other standards? What are the standards other than the association has? That you use in?
No, it's about how do you the association? Yeah, it is Association of Social Housing Corporations. Yeah. They their standard. It's about just the dimensions of a home, and that's one thing. But also, if you have an apartment, you have to. Where is your storage? What do we? How do you? Where do you place the bikes or parking? What are the parking facilities? How the hallways to walk from the elevator to your home? How large? How high? But also about what are the windows washable from the inside, or do you have to have a washing it has to be washed from the outside or not? That they say nothing about it, and that's what we choose to do, and what we use, the flexibility, and just also with in mind we have to rent them for years and years and years, and how do we make a sustainable home so we can use.
In your professional opinion, do you think your standards, what do you think are the shortcomings of these standards?
A problem of the standards is that they are standards and there is no development that's standard. So almost always you get that there are differences. And I think in our the shortcoming is, I think, that we are sometimes we make the homes too big because we want them too large, too many square meters, and that's not necessary. But we also think, but it has to be rented out in 20, 30, 40 years. So the bigger, the better. And I think our dimensions are sometimes a bit too large. That's one shortcoming. I think that's and another shortcoming is that we don't know if the people who live there like it. That's what we are talking about right now, I think.
Yeah.
So just completely different from that. Well, we are going towards a carbon zero, net carbon zero future.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, you have to plan for 30, 40, 50 years. What kind of standards are you developing now to ensure that you don't need to retrofit them in 10 years?
So I think we have one side that is how the municipality actually gives us rules that we should build. And we have something like the MPG, the Milieuprestatiegebouw, which is actually like the environmental, the function, like environmental ways of the building. So I don't know the word for prestaties. And that's a rule the government asks us, and then I don't know if you have ever heard of it. So it's a shadow cost that say what is the impact a square meter for the environment, and we have that. And it was always on €1, then it went to 80 cents a square meter. Now it goes to 50 cents. So in other words, it gets lower and lower and lower because the environmental impact should be lower. So that tool is actually built up where you put all the materials in a tool, and then it says for every material what the impact is. It puts them down to square meters, and then it says this is the impact of your home. So that is one side. The government actually tells us, and it goes lower and lower. Now it goes to 0.5. We have never built a building below that, so we should. Or we do the calculation different, which you will see, or we can actually build different. So now we're working on a strategy how we can build different and we can be below the 0.5. But in general, we want to move up to more like bio-based materials, sustainable materials, because we still use a lot of concrete and steel and unsustainable materials in our buildings, and we should actually learn and develop to use more bio-based materials. So we do that, for example, in the metropolitan region Amsterdam, so Amsterdam and everything around it. We have confidence that we agreed to that we should build 20% in wooden buildings every year in Amsterdam. So we tried that. It's not really working out yet, but we are trying it. So we have some developments in Almere. There's actually like 2 times 100 homes or something, so 200 homes that is all in wood. So that actually contributes to these standards. And within the restoration and the renovation part, we actually try to use more bio-based materials as well. So we have done this pilot with 1,000 square meters of bio-based insulation, roof insulation, and we try to scale it up now. We try to use recycled roof material. stuff like that. And we have done now. There's now a challenge live, like a tender, where we ask contractors in the market to help us with a more sustainable way of renovating the homes, but not in energy wise, but circular wise. So from bio-based materials. So that's actually the part I do a lot on, but it's not moving up as fast as I wanted to because it's often too expensive, or because we haven't the market isn't ready to, I don't know, have a replaceable product that's the same price. But we are actually trying it, so we have it on our.
And also also looking at the climate adaptive to build climate adaptive because and rainproof concepts, but also when the sun shines to make sure the homes stay cool. It's not only about it's also about how you make the homes, and such elements are adapted and are part of the program of requirements even more every so that's also parts technical sustainability and installations and bio-based materials, and on the other side also more climate adaptive.
But do we do that in terms of orientation as well? That we say we have to orientate our homes differently and stuff like that? Because I don't know if we do that.
Not right orientation, but it's about the Theo July, Theo Juli, how many sun, the heat, the sun, but oh, there's too much words. I don't know.
So, but the problem with that, we have a rule as the bank. So it's the bijna energie-neutraal gebouw. It's like the almost energy-neutral buildings. Then we have this standard in the Netherlands. But it says we have the TO Juli. It means the temperature, like the height in temperature in July. So in July it should be the highest temperature in the Netherlands in a year. So we say that is like the highest point, and that point we should be on a sort of level of temperature within the homes. But then we say, okay, so heat is a problem. Our homes are too insulated too good, so it's getting too hot. But then we say we should put air conditioning in it, or we should put other systems in it. But those are really bad for the environment because they actually produce a lot of heat, and they actually produce a lot of CO2 with the production of it. So we are still in this split where we don't know how to actually sort of tackle the issues with heat, with not only putting systems in it. And that is really
construction of the building itself.
Yeah, so that should be but I'm not sure if we do that's more of the functional but I'm not sure if we do that.
Yeah, we're doing it, but we're starting.
We're starting that, and that's really the future. So like passive housing. So the way you build it should be good enough for the environment inside, and not for like the climate inside, and not just put it with systems to. So, but that's a really hard thing also to change in the world of building, because nobody actually does it now. But that is the future, I think.
When you were mentioning the 0.5, 0.8, is it sort of like embodied carbon calculation divided, multiplied by price of carbon divided to meter square?
Yeah, divided by year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's a square meter price BVO, like a year. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. You said all projects are different, and the problem with standards are their standards. Do you think, to what extent do you think Alliantie's projects are standardized?
I know if you look at all the developments we're making right now, there is a lot of standardization. I think it's getting more and more, but each plot is different. So it's not, you cannot place one ID, one architectural, one building to another plot, because the plot is quite different. But so every plot is different, and therefore also the houses are different in the apartment or whatever. And but because the prices are getting high, we would like houses to be more standardized, more industrial made in the factory, placed and put together on the site. So there's more standardization, and we are looking for is there a misfit between our program of requirements and the standardized products that contractors or builders are offering to us, and do we need to change our program, or do we accept the differences between the standard products and what we want as a home? My time is up.
Yeah.
Because I have another
Yeah. Of
call.
course.
Thank you.
Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jaap. I
No,
will
thank
do
you so much, Jaap.
the last things and then.
Very welcome.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, good luck with the research.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you.
Bye bye.
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 Well, thank you as well. We don't. I had finished my questions.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good timing.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we have.
If you had any questions,
No.
no,
No, I think.
we asked everything.
Yeah, we.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think it's really
That's
interesting
great.
questions though. It's really the combination of technical, spatial matters,
Yeah.
how to build people living it.
Yeah.
It's really, it's more of a scientific approach that we don't do that often. And I think it's sometimes good to sort of zoom out and look at these, look at these parts.
Oh wait, I had one last question. When people go into their flats, so in the ones we saw now, they had to make, like, for example, like add the floor, add certain things to the kitchen.
Mhm.
Is that common practice here in the Netherlands, or like up to what extent are the flats, like in what stage are the flats given to users?
Yeah, that's a really big topic actually.
Okay.
So we call it zelf aangebrachte voorzieningen. That's actually in English it's like the by yourself put on things. We have an entire strategy and laws about it. I say laws like beleid.
Yeah, like rules.
Rules, yeah.
Mhm.
So we have a set of rules about it, where we actually say people can never put anything on the outside of their home. They cannot never do it themselves, but they can do stuff in the interior. But actually, we deliver the homes quite done. So I think everything is in there. Maybe not lights, for example. So, but there is like a fitting you can put a light in, and then shelves, of course, stuff like that. Not, but there's a kitchen in there. But there's never appliances in the kitchen, so they have to bring their own. That's a standard, for example, for social housing. We never do kitchens with appliances. So that's also why our kitchen is 800 euros. That's a really low price.
Yeah.
It's only cabinets
It's only
and
cabinets.
sink.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
floors?
I think that's a good question. I think we put in floors, but not in the middle segment. So I think in higher segments not. I'm not sure. Because I've mainly seen buildings that are not new buildings, but buildings that are like we already own, and those they have a lot of those buildings have floors, but people often put their own floors in it, and they put also wallpaper on it or paint and stuff. They can all do that.
But they have to take them down when they leave.
Yeah, for example, wallpaper I think they can leave it. But they have to reduce the holes in the walls, and if, for example, if they smoke a lot inside, they should paint it white again. So we have all these rules that how they deliver the home if they leave it. Yeah, but it's quite done already. It's quite yeah.
Yeah, 'cause we were in Spain, for example, kind of who we were talking to in the government, what they were saying is that they sometimes were a bit worried of how people would adapt their homes that would alter how they perform more technically, or like in terms of like climate.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think that's also an interesting part of, up to what extent they can adapt it,
Yeah.
that it remains, within your
Yeah,
technical guidelines.
Yeah, but people do the crazy stuff. They actually, so before 2017 we don't have these rules, so people just did everything, and then if someone from the Alliantie came by and they asked it, and then somebody said, oh yeah, that's fine, they just did it, but it was never recorded. So we have a lot of homes that have like little parts on it, or they have for example, a colleague of mine showed me a picture of a window, a roof window, but it was totally rotten out. It was like totally rotten. It was almost falling down. So that's really not safe. Somebody just did it themselves. They never said something. I have the picture here, and you can see I have it here actually. You can see the wood rotting away, and people just do it. I have a little in this thing. Let me see.
Yeah, of
Or
course, it's a
They,
very thin
they
line.
made a hole in the roof and placed the skylight.
Yeah, the skylight exactly. Yeah, so this one. Yeah, so it's done by themselves, and we never agreed to it. And because I'm also the owner of this document actually, so but it's really a big issue, because we have with this extreme heat in the summer, people actually asking us if we have is this.
It's the one on top, yeah.
Outside, yeah. But then also this one is also quite interesting. This one is also done by someone else, but it's really done great. So we actually like it, you know. So we say, oh, you can just leave it because it's actually an asset to the asset.
Okay.
But then when they build it and we don't know it, and we came by and we paint it, for example, it's ours. So when we don't know it's not ours and we paint it, it automatically becomes ours. You know. So we have to do maintenance on it. So sometimes we don't know it wasn't ours, and then the maintenance people are coming by, they just paint it. For example, the skylight thing, if they just painted it or checked it and they just went, they left again, it was ours.
So you don't have something like a housing officer that is in an area
Yeah, we do.
that looks at like patrols, sort of.
No, not really. No, they only come there if there is a request for repair.
Mm-hmm.
So people do requests for repair, and then our people come down. We have a lot of staff driving around with buses, but they don't do a really patrol. They don't really check the other homes. We call them controllers of living people. Like their title is controller of living, and they actually have a lot of contact with people in areas. But I don't think they patrol as well. Not in a technical aspect.
Mm-hmm.
But it's really an issue. So now we said if you didn't make a remark that you want to change something and you did it anyways, you have to demolish it yourself. You have to take it off yourself. So if we have no registration, for example, of the skylight, we say we can't leave it. Yeah. So that's quite a harsh rule. And we have, for example, this summer it was really hot, so people were complaining about the heat and they were asking, can I put some sun reflection things on my home? And then the standard rule is no, because you cannot change the outside of your house because it's ours and it's not you to change. So our standard answer is no. But then if you're quite old or you have you're disabled and you have the heat is really bad, you need to have it from sort of health issues. But then now we are busy actually with like in between part that says, okay, if you have health issues, you can do this and this and this. But in standards, no. Yeah, because we have 60,000 homes. If you say to everyone you can do whatever you want, it's going to be a hell of a mess. Yeah.
You're gonna end up with homemade skylights. That's quite something.
But I have so many examples for this. For example, we needed a new bathroom, and then I came in a week later. The bathroom was totally new. It was a sustainable circular bathroom. We did it with bio-based products. We came in, and I asked him, "Oh, that's a really big shower." So yeah, it's mine. I said, "Oh, whoa, how? Yeah, I just took it off and I put mine in." But it was not. You cannot do that because it was leaking and stuff like that. But they just do it. I mean, of course you do it. It's your own home, let's say. So people just do all that stuff.
That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Also, it is a very problematic issue. How do you simulate the environmental impact of something that you don't know how it's going to change?
Yeah.
With what flow?
Climate adaptive is a really hard term because you don't know how the climate will be. So how can you adapt to it? So you need to have really high climate adaptive rules.
Yeah, or if their laminated floor, is emitting more than it should, or